Your hosts are here, Sammie and Michelle. By the end of this podcast, you'll know them well. Adulting, navigating the journey of life. Careers to relationships, pain and strife. Put down the rule book, rethink the status quo. If there's another direction you wanna go, find purpose, passion and mastery in all that you do with Status Post Adulting.
Hey, Status Post Adulting family! This is Sammie
and Michelle,
and you're listening to the 102nd episode of Status Post Adulting, where we are talking about money scripts.
Yes, we are, Sammie. And we are talking about money scripts today because we have been jet-setting around the country.
Which you know we hate to do.
Which is very tiring. But the nice part about it is we have seen so many of our friends from 5, 10, 15, like people that we've grown up with. And we've been having these really, really wonderful conversations around personal finance and different things like that. And one thing that I think we all realize is that a lot of us have these money scripts or limiting money mindsets that maybe served us at one point, but doesn't serve us in this next season of life. So Sammie and I wanted to go through a couple that we ourselves have thought about and have tried to work through, and we wanted to share them with you today.
Exactly, Michelle. It's a new year and it's time to get rid of your old money scripts.
Preach.
I first heard about money scripts with Ramit Sethi, author of I Will Teach You to Be Rich. He talks about how money scripts are narratives or ideas that we have around money, beliefs that we have that have kind of been ingrained in us and that we carry with us, whether we realize it or not.
And it's time to realize it because you might be moving forward in your life. You might be finding that you are becoming successful, but you may still have a limiting mindset in some ways. And so we are here to tackle that so that you can have an unlimited future with abundance abound. And we have even made little positive mantras so that we can flip the script on these money scripts.
Wow.
Flip the money script.
Wow. We're literally flipping the script.
We're literally
on these money scripts.
We are.
Unintentional, but it's true. And our first money script is, people will respect me if I look wealthy. Maybe you didn't say it to yourself quite like that. Like,
that would be
people
very
will
self-aware.
respect me if I look wealthy. No, you're not a robot. There's some way that you fed it to yourself that you believed. For example, dress for the job you want. Fake it till you make it.
Walk the walk, talk the talk.
Exactly.
Maybe not that.
Somehow you've perceived that you have to give off some appearance, whether it's your home or your car or your clothes, that signifies to others that you are wealthy so that they will respect you.
We definitely heard this a lot growing up. It was instilled in us to make sure that your clothes are clean, they look nice, your things look clean and nice so that you can sort of project this idea of looking like you got your ish together.
And Michelle, when I think about it, it makes sense that we would have maybe got this messaging from our parents. Our parents, they grew up in India. It was a completely different country. They weren't necessarily wealthy over there by any means. And then they come here and they have to learn how to fit in. And our mom tells us about how she went to her first interview in some old pair of clothing that she borrowed from my aunt.
Mm-hmm. Jeans. She wore jeans.
Oh, she wore jeans. Oh my God.
She wore jeans. My cousin's jeans because they were my mom's size.
Oh, yes. She wore jeans to her first interview. And she looks at that with kind of like a cringiness, but also like a shock.
She looks at it like, thank God they gave me a job.
Exactly. And so naturally for our parents, they literally had to learn what was the culture, what was acceptable. And maybe because of that, they were hyper vigilant about how they were being perceived.
Yeah, it's true, Sammie.
My dad even commented on my car once. And he was like, a doctor, I'm a physician assistant, should not be driving that to work. You need to drive a nice car so people will respect you. Literally what he said.
I will say, in defense of our father, he doesn't mean that she needs a more expensive car. Sammie's car, for some reason, slowly has broken apart over time.
It has like 150,000 miles on it. Okay, I'm not saying it's like the most amount of miles, but I have driven it a lot.
Yeah, and sometimes when she was at work, like parts of her car would disappear. And so I appreciate the mindset that you don't need to fix these things.
Yeah. Between living in San Francisco and working in East San Jose, little decals on parts of my car would just disappear. And they are decorative, so yeah, I'm not going to replace them.
Car still drives.
It drives really well.
That's like when I got a scratch in my car after I tried to park it, and I got stuck between a car and a pillar. And I was like,
it sounds a little big to me when you say it like that. How did it happen? I'm stuck between a pillar and another car in a parking spot that I should have fit into. Who did this to me?
Curse this pillar. Anyway, that pillar did me dirty. And
she crashed into the pillar, in case the story is unclear at all. It's not a major crash. She got a little scratch on her car.
Okay, it was a tight spot. I thought I could fit in. I was wrong. But the point is, I went to go look at how much it would cost to repaint my car, and I was like, oh, heck no. I just call my car a scar. I move on. People don't even notice it. It's fine. But this is a nightmare for our parents.
I don't think they love the fact that we are so willing to look cheap.
And that we're really careless with our vehicles. I'm not sure how that happened.
I don't know.
The thing is, there is some value to this, especially I think when you're new in your career or your job. At least when we're in the Midwest and in like the East Coast even, you see this more where people expect you to dress professionally to work. It shows respect to your job, especially when you don't have a lot of experience. You're like, hey, maybe you don't know that I'm a competent person yet, but I am at least trying. Let me tell you my shock coming to the West Coast when I was working my first tech job, especially as we grew and people were doing well. People would come to work in like leggings and sweatpants. And every like 6 months or so, we would get yelled at and reminded that there's a dress code. And I still remember my friend once being like, can you believe they don't let us wear leggings to work? And I was like, it's a little bit rational that they don't want us to be like in our pajamas at work. But at the same time, we were client facing, but we were on the phone. Nobody saw us. No one ever came into our office. So who cares what we're wearing? So there are different sides of this, I think, for sure. There's some value to it.
Exactly. And so, be reasonable, but don't take it over the top. I think it is a mindset that is instilled in us. And then next thing you know, we're trying to have a certain brand name shirt or brand name bags or scrubs. Brand name scrubs. No one in particular.
Sammie's enemy.
My enemy. Don't take it over the top because really you just have to look reasonable, but you don't need to go over the top. And especially once you've been there for a while, once you have experience, once people actually just know that you do a good job, don't spend money on all your clothes. You do not want to work there forever just because you are trying to look like you deserve to be there.
Yeah, I definitely think one of the reasons this is a script that is one that people age out of is that it's funny because once you become competent, people don't care about what you're wearing.
Yeah, it's so true, Michelle. Once you become competent, it's almost like ironic if you look a little bit disheveled.
For example, right, like the stereotype in San Francisco is that like your CEOs are wearing like the t-shirts and the shorts or whatever. And it's because these guys are like really good engineers and they run big companies and nobody cares if they look like crap or not. And I have even saw that in my own career. I remember, I think the first 6 months of my job, I wore business casual every single day. And then I slowly let it go. And like 3 years in, I would literally take my shoes off and walk around the office barefoot. That, I understand, is disgusting.
Some people just don't like that because it's gross.
That's disrespectful, but I'm just saying is that I knew nobody was going to fire me.
If you're walking around, if you see someone walking around the office without their shoes on and their socks, like they don't even wear socks on, you know that person
I was wearing my socks.
is really good at their job.
When you gotta earn barefoot office time, okay? When I switch jobs, shoes back on, socks back on, okay? Even though I hate shoes.
So if you're trying to reframe this whole mindset, this money script that People will respect me if I look wealthy. Maybe a mantra or a manifestation that you can use instead is, I have confidence that what I do will have an impact, and I'm attracting a community that shares my values.
I like it. I like it. I like it because this mantra, I have confidence that what I do will have an impact and that I'm attracting a community that shares my values. It really focuses on the important things, which is that there should be no connection between how you look and whether or not people respect you, or your wealth and whether or not people respect you. And really what we want to do is put out good into the world and attract a community that shares the same values that we have. And so we focus a lot about clothes on this one, but it's also true about like any material goods. It's not really that we're saying you shouldn't spend money on things. It's just like, know what your values are. Like if you don't care that much about fashion, you can let it go, do your best, and call it a day.
And if you're looking for some inspiration in being a frugal appearing, frugal car driving, frugal house residing person, then check out The Millionaire Next Door and Everyday Millionaires. They've got some great statistics on the types of houses, the types of cars, the types of brands that millionaires are wearing, driving, living in. And you will see that these people are not spending all their money, because if they were, they wouldn't be millionaires.
Yeah, or you can go to Sammie's clinic when she's wearing her black shirt with 50 holes in it, and you can see that some people don't give a
My shirt does have a lot of holes.
It's disgusting.
But it's like very comfortable. And I wear another black shirt underneath, so it's not so obvious that my shirt has a ton of holes.
And everyone in her office knows now. They've tried to buy her a new shirt. Imagine our parents at the top of the story, okay? They're mortified.
They're literally mortified. They're like, Sammie, we need to buy your shirt. And I'm like, the truth is, if it's a shirt that's new, it's like inherently not going to be as comfortable as this sweater that I'm already wearing, because this one is like worn in.
I literally finally had to go find the exact same sweater and get it for Sammie. And I was like, I will rip. The holes are getting huge now. Like at this point... I get it. Sammie is like, what you gonna do? Okay, there's one doctor in town and she got holes in her shirt. Okay.
It's bad. Yeah, Michelle bought me a new shirt. I'm like, you know what? Buy me 5. Put them in the washer like 5 times and then dry them 5 times so that they're a little bit softer and maybe I can wear them instead.
Can you imagine? The shirt I bought, not good enough for her.
Just too silky smooth.
Moving on. Another mindset that we think, I've definitely come across myself, is this amount of money is the most money, the max amount of money somebody like me could make.
It's true, Michelle. Whenever you enter your profession, you kind of know how much people make. You know what you think is the max, and then you kind of set that as a peak for yourself for like your whole lifetime. You're like, oh, maybe the person at the top of my field is making, $150,000. That's going to be my peak. That's going to be my max. You're wrong.
No, it's true. For example, when I switched from working in Michigan to my first sales job, I literally was making minimum wage in Michigan, which I think was $7.45. And my job was like the base, so I think was about $45K, which I was like, woohoo! I didn't care that I was in San Francisco or that my like rent was going up. I was like, I'm about to make like money. I'm about to have health insurance. And on top of that, there was also like a bonus, which they were pretty vague about. But basically, when I was 24 or 25, I was making more money than I ever thought that I would make because the company was doing really well. I was doing really well. I was making more money than both my parents combined at my age. And I was like, this is like, I'm in tech. I'm making a ton of money. I'm at the cap. Like, you can only go so much further than this. And I started to see over time, like, how much that changes. Like now, sometimes I'm not even working. And sometimes I get LinkedIn messages from random companies that are like, oh, the on target earnings is like $300,000 for this. And look, I don't necessarily think that these small companies are paying $300,000. But the fact that they even put that in a subject headline, like I would never think, I could ever possibly even have a shot at that much money. I thought for sure I was way, way, way below that. It's all just to say that things change. Inflation is up. People are more desperate for talent. I have more experience than I did in the past. So I would never have thought, like, say 5 or 6 years ago that I would be looking at like opportunities that could possibly just go so far and above what I thought my salary could be.
Yeah, Michelle. I was looking at a list of like physician assistants and physician assistant specialties and how much they all make. And I was looking like at the highest paying specialty and how much that made. And I looked at the number and I was thinking in my head, I'm like, I actually like literally don't know any physician assistants who make this amount or less. Like everybody I know is making more than this. And this article is just saying that this is like what the top specialty pays. And I think when you have a limiting mindset and you don't think out of the box, then sometimes you just like settle for whatever you're told is normal and it's not normal. Now I'm like 200, 300, people could be making 500, people could be making $1 million a year. Maybe somebody else doing something different, but like creatively using their healthcare skills is making like $1 million or 10 million a year. Like no number can shock me now because I just completely changed my mindset on how wealth is built.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't blame anybody. Like if you look at like your salary bands, like the minimum and maximum that people make, they're always under average. You know, I worked at a job site. So if you look at companies like Glassdoor, their averages are actually always lower. It's much, much lower than what the industry average is. And it's way lower than the max. Like people with maximum salaries are not going to Glassdoor and inputting their salaries. So all of that to say is like,
I don't want to
be
judged.
That's peasant stuff. That's me. No, but I mean, just to say, like, we all, like, in our minds think that we have, like, a salary band, but we could leave our job, we could start our own business, we can use our skills in different ways. Like, there's so many different opportunities to make more money. And it's just important not to have a limiting mindset. It doesn't have to be a goal or anything, but we want you to imagine yourself getting all the money in the world because you are doing good work and you deserve it.
Exactly. That could be a mantra within itself. But maybe another one would be, people are happy and eager to help me grow my wealth.
People are happy and eager to help me grow my wealth. And it's true. People are happy and eager to help me grow my wealth.
It's actually true. I think about my clinic and like if we wanted to hire someone, we would be like, yeah, like we'll pay you a crap ton because like you're coming out to the middle of nowhere to work and like you're actually going to add a ton of value. Like you 100% deserve it. So genuinely happy and eager to help you grow your wealth. People want a fair exchange for the services that you're providing.
And keep in mind, it's going to be the people on the outside that feel that way. Your current company might not feel that way. And so it's also always important to evaluate your opportunities because the best way to get a pay increase is to leave your job. Unfortunately, that's just a fact.
Yeah.
It's funny because we'll talk about it. And like the more we talk about like our salaries with people and what like opportunities we're looking at, like all of a sudden the next year, everybody's income will have increased. Like I was saying to Sam, I'm like, it's so funny. Like now I know so many people who make this amount of money. And then we'll pause and be like, oh, right. Mm-hmm. It's because we're talking to our friends and we're like actually understanding what's going down in our industry. So that's another thing too. It's very, very important to talk to people in your industry. And I think it'll open up your mind, especially if those people don't look like you, that other people are making more money, they're getting bigger bonuses. You just learn so much. Like people are usually willing to share. So it's good to like communicate and actually see what's going on.
And our final money script for this podcast.
Hit me.
Rich people are greedy and bad.
Oof, that is a common one today.
It is. And it's certainly one which we grew up with.
Yes, we totally grew up with it. I think especially as like minority people, I imagine like when you're in a new place and you're trying to like get your money together and you see that the majority has the money, it's very easy to villainize those people and be like, they are greedy, they have all this money, they're not good. Who knows whether or not that's like true? But it's interesting to me that we still have that in our dialogue today. Like there's so many arguments right now about whether or not billionaires are good or bad. And it's not by billionaires. It's by peasants like us. Like we're like, are they good? Are they bad? Like
billionaires making billions. Meanwhile, us arguing about whether they're good or bad.
It's just interesting that as a society, we're so focused on that. And whether, no matter where you stand on that, I do think it's a limiting mindset because it will prevent you from making money if you think rich people are bad people.
Yeah, because then what's going to happen when you're rich? You bad now.
100%.
You bad and greedy now.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to do? I think one thing is, money doesn't define who you are. It amplifies who you are. So
yes,
there's selfish people out there. They get money and they behave even more selfishly. And there's probably humble people out there and they get more money and they behave in a humble manner. And you probably never hear about it because they're too humble. And don't be mad at yourself if this is a narrative that you have. This narrative is literally also pushed on us by fairy tales, television. It is everywhere. There's Scrooge, Ebenezer. Don't forget him.
Scrooge McDuck.
Yes, the ducky one in the money pond. Evil king lords. Anybody who was wealthy in fairy tales and stories on television was always associated negatively.
Yeah, it's like rich people and single women are villains always.
Single women as villains. See us in the after show if you want to hear more about this.
That's Sammie's trigger word.
That's my trigger word.
Single women are villains is Sammie's trigger statement.
And then you have people like our mom who kind of associate poverty with humbleness and virtuousness. Actually, probably not on accident. See, those who are poor in spirit, theirs is the kingdom of God.
That's true. We got a very religious mother.
Or even religious phrases like, it says difficult, the one that's about the rich man trying to get to heaven. It's kind of like trying to fit some sort of animal through the little eye of a needle.
A donkey through the eye of a needle? A camel?
Email us if you know the correct phrase.
Yeah, let us know. We'll probably
the point
forget to Google
is
it.
There's a lot of messaging that says, if you are rich, you are greedy. If you are rich, you are selfish. If you are rich, you are bad. And it's a negative money script that we need to let go of, not because we need to be more accepting of rich people, but because it is blocking us from being wealthy.
You be a nice person and you get wealthy and you prove us wrong, okay? Or I guess you prove us right.
You show us, look at me, I'm greedy and bad now. Michelle and Sammie, what are you going to do about that?
I agree with what you're saying, though. I really do think wealth, money, those things just amplify who you are. Maybe you get a little bit colder or I don't know what happens, but I think to say that, to use a blanket statement like rich people are bad or rich people are greedy, one, it's confusing because it feels like every time you get a raise, that amount goes up. It's anybody who's making $40,000, $80,000, $100,000, $300,000. Convenient. I think everybody's making more money than whenever they wrote that Bible verse. So we're all doing too much.
So if you're thinking of a positive mantra to replace this negative money script with, maybe something like, having money gives me the opportunity to create more abundance and peace in the world.
Having money gives me the opportunity to create more abundance and peace in the world. Yes. Look at Jeff Bezos' wife. She's rocking it. Honestly, even Jeff Bezos is giving away more money than I am.
Yes, by far. Even a bigger percentage of his money is probably going.
No, my net worth. He's giving away
probably not percentage.
He probably gives 20x my net worth. The worst rich person is doing more for the world than we are. So keep that in mind. Yes. But you know, it's not up to us to judge.
The worst rich person is doing way more than Mother Teresa. No, I'm kidding.
Not Mother Teresa. Way too far.
Way too far.
Not the patron saint of status was adulting. Okay. Our mom loves Mother Teresa.
Yeah. It's a joke. If you know our mom, she loves Mother Teresa. So we would never insult her.
We would never. She's a great woman.
She's a great woman.
Our mom met Mother Teresa.
She was going to follow her.
She inspired my mom to become a nurse. Once my mom realized that she didn't want to be a nun. So our takeaways, Sammie. Hopefully today you have taken a second thinking about your own money scripts. What is something that you think about people who have wealth? What's something that you think wealth will give you that you don't already have, good or bad? And let's disassociate from those money scripts. We have new mantras for you.
And our mantras are, I have confidence that what I do will have an impact and that I am attracting a community that shares my values.
Beautiful. People are happy and eager to help me grow my wealth.
Having money gives me the opportunity to create abundance and peace in the world.
And you know what? While we got you here, how about you close your eyes for a second? Unless you're driving, in which case do not close your eyes. Close your eyes for a second. And I want you to manifest abundance. I want you to imagine money raining around you. People eager to give you money because they know it will be safe with you, that you will do good with it.
Bank accounts full. Investment accounts full. Amounts that you're giving to others abundant. Amounts that you are using to help others create the lives that they desire abundant.
And you are kind. You are beautiful.
You're peaceful.
You are peaceful. You have not changed who you are or what your values are.
In fact, you have only grown more true to your values and eliminated any negative values that were lingering in your midst.
And now you have not only lifted yourself, you have lifted your community as well. That's what we're here for. So let us know if you have any money scripts or money mantras. We would love to hear them. statusbussadulting@gmail.com. Send us yours.
And most importantly, be sure to join us next time as we put down the rulebook and we rethink the status quo.
Welcome to the after show.
Welcome. If you have joined because you were curious and listening to our thoughts on the perception of single women in fairy tales and Disney movies, you came to the right place, my friend. You came to the right place.
Sammie is always ready to talk about this. Primed.
I'm primed. And I have noticed that in Disney movies in particular, intelligent single women are portrayed as villains. See Ursula. See the evil queen in the Snow White.
Stepmother.
See Meredith from The Parent Trap. I feel so bad for Meredith. She was intelligent, she was working hard, and then those children were playing evil pranks on her all the time.
You know, I'm not even going to lie. I can't tell if we've just had this conversation a lot or if we have talked about this on the podcast.
We may have talked about it, and sorry if we did. But that's my feelings on that. And not just that, but the princesses, it's like, sometimes they deliberately make them unintelligent. Like Sleeping Beauties is literally not awake. Your presence, your consciousness isn't even relevant.
Snow White seems kind of dumb.
No offense.
Ariel seems kind of dumb.
Ariel seems super dumb.
Bella's the only smart one. And they make fun of her for being smart.
Yeah, Bella is smart, and that's like, they have to make a whole point out of that because it's so unusual.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Jasmine, they don't say she was particularly smart, but you can kind of tell she is because she's kind of witty.
Very smart. Mulan, very smart.
Disney kind of makes Asian women intelligent, which thank you. I appreciate that.
We appreciate it. Good role models for us.
Good role models for us. But I don't like how like every smart lady outside of that is being villainized.
Yeah, because now I feel like they're like shifting, right? Like they're making the characters better.
Mm-hmm.
By, I don't know. They're like kind of like justifying like a lot of the problems that happened, like Maleficent, Cruella.
Oh, Cruella's another one.
Mm-hmm. A hardworking woman.
Like a business owner?
Honestly, in general, I feel like bosses in movies are really bad.
Yeah, that's true.
But bad mantra. You are not Cruella de Vil.
Mm-hmm.
If you get a ton of money. Unless you want it. You could be dripping in puppy fur.
We're not promoting that at all. Okay.
We're not promoting that. But you know what? It's not our fight to fight.
Yeah. Listen, we're not going to hate you. That's you.
All right, that's our show.
Bye.